Good evening everyone and welcome to Speed Force Racing's round 11 of the championship here at Hungary. I'm Adam and I'm joined by Peter this evening. How are you doing, Peter?
Hello guys. Yeah, I'm doing very well. How about you, buddy?
Yeah, having a great day, and looking forward to this race, of course.
Yeah, and of course happy birthday to you, buddy.
Thank you, appreciate that, mate. So, this is your home track since you're Hungarian. What little hints and tips can you give people that are racing tonight?
Yeah, this is a bumpy surface. There is a very bumpy surface around Hungary, and we are quite over the sea level. But this is a very sorry.
No worries.
So this is a very where I was, I don't know. I just got interrupted. Sorry.
No worries. Right. So we've been racing here. Well, current F1 cars have been racing since 1986 at the track. Track is 4.38 kilometers long. So pole position is obviously the best position to start the racing, but especially on this track because it's less dusty because it's on the racing line. So who's your shout for pole position out of the drivers we have today?
Yeah, I think the one who should get pole today is Fletcher Boy.
Yeah, that's a good shout.
Fabulous job. He's doing a fabulous job so far this season. And yeah, for me, he's the favorite to get the pole position.
I'm gonna go for Coming to Get You. Now he's a reserve for BDS Jade Rios, who can't make today. She's feeling unwell, so we wish her better. So he will be teaming up with Lord JB13 and Force India. Now these two are friends in real life, so this should be a little bit of a great chemistry moment for them, unless they take each other out, and then I wouldn't like to be friends with them because it will get quite fierce.
Yeah, you're right.
So over the history has said 10% chance of safety car. Now that's with real F1. Our drivers, I don't think we've had many safety cars. I know we've had a few virtual safety cars over previous races, so hopefully I personally would like a safety car because it spices the race up. But let's hope turn 1 the cars get through and carry on to turn 2 on lap 1 all in reasonable condition.
Yeah, I got a good feeling about it. Unless it's raining. Well, I think we're gonna have a dry race with a wet qualifying, which is interesting to say the least, because wet qualifying can spice up the things, can put slower drivers into better positions at the start of the Grand Prix, and they can cause trouble for the championship leaders.
So we got 14 turns on the track. I'd say turns 12 and 13 are maybe the toughest, especially turn 12 on the track because it's a very slow left-hander. Would you go for a very high downforce setup, or would you go for maybe in between fast and a slow setup?
It's very hard to get a very good setup around Hungary because you don't want to be slow, especially in the straights, because you have very low opportunity to get past another car on the straight. So my opinion is that you should go for downforce.
Yeah, that's. I think that's the way most drivers will be going. So the another random fact: pit lane is 360 meters long, so it's roughly about 19 seconds for a good pit stop. In our league, we do not use pit assist, pit release assist, anything like that. You've got to slow down going into the pit lane, and that's catching a few drivers out this season, breaking the speed limit in the pit lane during the race.
It's an even harder pit entry here in Hungary because you don't have the sign. I don't know why Codemasters didn't put the sign in. So you have a small white line somewhere, and you have a sign like 20 meters after then 30 meters after where you have to put the speed limiter on. So it's it's very hard to get right, and you can easily get a penalty.
So, Drivers' Championship at the moment, we've got Techno Thriller. He's on 143 points at the moment. He missed last week's race. He's here tonight, so he's going to try and defend his championship lead. Humbug is on 121 points. Just 3 behind him on 118 is Lee Nell. Chopper's in 4th, 62 points so far. Fletcher Boy in the Williams, 39 points, and he is, I assume, devastated because he's lost so many points. Last week he's admitted his own mistake of crashing out. The week before he got a car flying into his head. So I suppose he's got to try and get pole position and get that clean start at the start of the race.
You need a very good starting position here in Hungary, especially. And for Fletcher Boy, I think he has nothing to lose right now in the championship. He has 39 points. He is 5th, of course, but Techno has 140 points, which is a very big margin between the two of them. So he's quick. We all know that he's quick. He's one of the fastest in this league, so he can go for the pole position and just easily take the win. Because my opinion is that Techno and the other drivers need to watch out for the championship and do not go into risky things.
So we got the constructors table, top 5 at the moment. Sauber 159 points. Toro Rosso only a point behind. Now that is a sign of the drivers working well for their teams, but could that be the two teams that challenge for the constructors, or can you see Williams getting involved because they're on 147 points, Williams?
It is a very close battle between all 4 teams. I think the Sauber team will drop off, and this will be a 3-way battle for the championship. And as I can see, it's a dry qualifying, so my guessing was wrong. But anyways, it's a dry qualifying.
Well, that will be music to some people's ears, because on this game, when it's really heavy rain, you've got to use the extreme wet tyres. It is impossible to drive. The Inters, yeah, they give you just about enough grip to drive around the track.
If you use Noah, since it's even harder, I think you have to admit to the conditions. And every time, but it's hard. It's a hard thing to master the wet. It's a very hard thing.
So we've got a few cars coming out now. We've got Did SX, Red Bull coming out on the Super Softs, Toro Rosso coming out on the Super Softs as well. Do you see the Super Softs as the tyre to qualify on?
Maybe yes.
Well, you see, Super Soft, so if you choose the soft tyres, they're 0.6 of a second slower than the Super Softs. And if you're brave enough, go for the mediums in quali, but you're losing 1.3 seconds to the Super Softs performance. So it's a lot to decide on.
Yeah, but remember, you don't want to be slow at the beginning of the Grand Prix. A lot of positions can be gained and lost at the start and after the first few laps. So I think you have to be on at least on the soft tires, just like Techno. He's always the guy who's brave enough to go for the harder compound, but it seems like that this will play out for him.
So being told a dry race and a dry quali. So Christmas has come early for our drivers.
Oh, and Hamburg is stopping weirdly. I don't know what happened to him. He's on the pit exit, but he's moving anywhere. I don't know what's happening with him.
We're on board with coming to get you. He's going to start his times lap. If you'd like to commentate us through your home Grand Prix.
Thank you, buddy. Yes. So he's going out of the final corner. Starts his lap. I think he should brake between the 100-meter board and the 50-meter board, just like he did. And then that's a bit out of the apex and loses the car. Oh, that's an abandoned lap, I believe. But he's continuing on. But that's a bad lap.
Okay,
far.
we will go and have a look on board someone else then, as I'm sure Coming to Get You will be quite disappointed with that start to his first flying lap of the session. So we're on board with Decadent. He's in the Renault. He won last week's race, a great debut drive from him, earned him driver of the day. So do you see him throwing himself into the mix for today's win?
Definitely. There are 5, maybe 6 drivers who can always go for the win, and he's definitely between these 6 drivers, 5, 6 drivers. As did the success, the fastest lap with a 1:20.5.
Do you see that time getting beaten? Oh, there we go. As we say, a 1 minute 18.481 by Fletcher Boy and the Williams, a cracking time.
And he can do better. I saw that he can do better.
There you go, you've heard it. Peter expects Fletcher Boy to maybe turn the engine up just a tiny bit more to get a bit more performance out, but that is a dominant display. He's 9/10 of a second in front of his teammate, which is quite a throwdown to start your practice quali session.
Ooh, DSX has lost it up towards the Mensa corner.
So, on board with the Renault of Decadent, if you'd like to take us through, he's just gone through turn 1, down, going towards turn 2.
Yes. You can go deep into that corner, because then you will have a very good exit up towards the Mensa corner. He seems like doing a very good job, but he's on the soft tires in my screen. That's maybe not true.
No, he's on the soft tires.
Yeah, that's why I said, because lately my tire
basically Cody's are messing everyone's sessions up.
Yeah, basically.
There we go.
Thanks.
So
I think.
Do you see this?
Yeah, go.
Just see his sector 2 time is a 56.9 currently on his lap. Going into sector 3, do you see that as a good time, or do you think he's going to be lower down the order?
I believe he's
he's
on
pitting.
second lap at the. Yeah.
No, he's not pitting. Bizarre.
That makes a big mistake. That was bizarre. Yeah, that was definitely bizarre.
So a 120.7 by Decadent. Looked like he had a bit of an incident going into the last corner. It looked like he was going to pit, didn't. So I'm sure he'll be going on super soft soon.
And right now, Uzi is second, and Lord JB is fourth, which is very nice from the 2 new drivers. Basically, they are not new, but they're still the newest, except from Coming to Get Ya.
So Fletcher Boy is on I think he's actually on a fast lap. He's currently on these super soft tyres. Currently provisional pole of a 118.48, and no, he pits.
Coming to the pits, yeah. So right now, Blood and Sand, Force Knife Sake, Chopper, and S. Graham don't have a time. They don't have a time yet, but I'm sure it will change.
Can you see someone challenging for a very high 117?
Definitely. That's possible in these conditions. I should say Fletcher Boy, maybe Decadent, Coming to Get Ya. These 3 can definitely hit the 117 mark, and probably everyone else as well, but these 3 drivers are my favorite to go under 118.
So yeah, we'll go for a rundown. We've got Fletcher Boy provisional pole, 118.4. Racing Podge is in second. Third is Uzi. Lee Nell is fourth. Decadent is fifth. Lord JB sixth. Gaming Thing seventh. Techno Thriller is eighth. Blood and Sand is 9th, DSX is 10th, 11th is Humbug, which is surprising. Coming to Get You is 12th, Aspheric is 13th, for Snipe's Sake is 14th, 15th is Chopper, 16th, S. Graham. So, do you have any pre-race comments from any of the drivers?
That's what I wanted to tell you.
Brilliant, so, there we go.
Lena said, I'm aiming for a podium finish this race, and to jump up a few places in the constructor stable as both me and my teammate had solid pace in practice session. Humbug said, Uh, Quality will be important today, as it's hard to overtake here. Unfortunately for me, I don't have good one-lap pace, so I don't expect a good result this week. Because he is 11th at the moment, so he was right. Racing Point said though, my aim in the Hungarian Grand Prix is to take a podium finish after a strong finish last week. It's not gonna be easy, but I'm going to give it all I can. And finally, Flasher Boy said, I feel like practice has gone well and I'm hoping for a good qualifying. I feel me and my teammate Lee can get some great points for the team around this circuit.
Brilliant. On the outlap of the Williams of Fletcher Boy, who you've predicted could go faster than the 18.4 he's currently got, if you would like to take us through what possibly could be the fastest time coming up.
I think it could be like a 1:17.8 if he nails this lap perfectly, but you need to be 100% perfect to get that.
Okay, so he's going around the last corner. If you would like to take us through a lap of the Hungaro ring.
Yes, so he's starting his lap right now, Fletcher Boy, and I think he will break right now. Yes, I was right. He missed the apex a little bit, but that's not that big of a problem, because he will get a better run, sort of a better run. You can go deeply into corner number 2, as he does quite well, and he will get a very good run up to the Mansell corner. I think the driver in front of him will make sure he won't get held up. He goes through the Mansell corner very nicely. Then turn number 5 is clean as well. He's going up towards the chicanes into corner number 6 and 7 respectively, going into 4 gear into the fast left and right section of the track, and that was the second sector done. He runs a bit wide, but that's cool. A 28.3 second sector, that's a very good sector, to be honest. He's going around corner number 13 now, takes it nice and easy, and Uzi is in front of him. Make sure he won't get held up. He's going around the final corner number 14. DRS wide open, and that is a 118.009. So he couldn't get into the 117s, but that was a very clean and very strong lap from him. I think this would get him the pole position tonight.
I tell you who's done a good lap, coming to get you on the soft tyres, a 1 minute 19.050. That is that's a strong pace.
Yeah, and I think he's continuing on, because he has an 85,000th of a second advantage over Fletcher Boy's pole time. He's going right through the chicanes, the slow chicanes. Oh, and makes a mistake, but I think he will continue on. And Humbug up into P3. That's a very strong lap from him.
Yeah, that is, and he's quite happy to park the car up in the garage and give himself a little comfort break ahead of the race. So third place for Humbug currently at the moment. Fletcher Boy has also called it a day for qualifying. It's currently provisional pole. There is 26 seconds to get Racing Podge across the line to start his flying lap, his last flying lap of the session. So we're on board with him.
Yes, coming to get you. Climbs up to P3. That was a very good lap from him. And the big surprise so far is Techno, who's on the super soft tires, but he's just 10th at the moment, and he won't have time to go for another lap, so this lap will do it. Yeah, he's second.
Wow, there you go. He pulls it out at the last second to get his provisional second place. Sorry.
Oh, and look at Lee now. He's on a good lap.
We will go on board with Lee now. We're on board with Lee now at the moment. If you'd like to commentate the rest of the lap.
Yeah, he's going through the penultimate corner. Brakes a little bit too late, but that won't cost him. Going right around the final corner now and opens the DRS. This will be 6th place for Lee now. Not the strongest performance, but I think he will be happy with that.
Yeah, it looks like Lee looks like he's struggled a little bit round this track in this session because in previous practice sessions there's been a little further up the grid. But coming to get you, fourth place with a 1 minute 18.9 on the soft tyres is quite a good going. So when he's on, depends how many stops do you think will be this race will be?
I don't know.
They
I think
suggest 2 to 3 stops, but what would you go for?
Yeah, that's just about right for me. 2 to 3 stops it's quite okay around Hungary. I think coming to get you will try to do the one stop, or at least that would make sense to do the one stop for him, starting on the soft tires,
And then switch to the mediums?
yeah, go to like 15 laps into the Grand Prix and then switch to the mediums, because we have 35 laps of racing ahead of us here at the Hungaroring. Or I should say Hungaroring.
It's quite an interesting little grid. We've got Racing Podge in third place, known to lead races early on in the race, but then sometimes there was a little bit of a bad luck, either his own errors or someone else causing a problem for him. You got Fletcher Boy, Racing Podge. I'd even say you got Humbug that need a pretty solid race this week.
Yeah, because Techno is up into P2 again. Even though he's coming back from a winter break, he's still on the pace. So he will be tough to manage. Decadent is a bit disappointment for me so far. I don't know. I don't trust anymore in these tires. So please, could you tell me what tire is he on?
The super soft. So yeah, it's quite a disappointment there. 10th place. I thought you'd have had the pace just to be a little bit further up the grid. But there you go. The qualifying session has finished. So Fletcher Boy with a great job with a very low 1 minute 18, nearly a 1:17 with his pole lap. Then you got Techno Thriller is in second, Racing Podge qualifies third, fourth on the grid is Coming to Get Ya, Humbug fifth, sixth Lean Now, Uzi is seventh, Lord JB is eighth, Gamey Things ninth, Decadent on 10th, starting 11th would be Blood and Sand, Chopper 12th, S Graham 13th, Did SX 14th, Snipe Sake is 15th, and Aspheric is 16th. So, this should be an interesting race. Obviously we've got the formation lap coming, so just gives drivers the little last chance to get the tyres ready and also check track conditions. It's meant to be a dry race, so don't see too many issues coming. A little bit cloudy though in the sky.
It is overcast conditions at the moment, so I think there might be a little bit of rain, my friend. What do you think of this?
I think I'd hope there'd be a splash of rain, but the conditions, I think it's just going to be a cool race. So maybe tyre wear maybe slightly less than expected. I've just got to say that this is our last race for this year, but the season continues January the 10th, having a 4-week break. But next week we've got the 100% race at Spa with full qualifying. We've got 5 spaces left. Like I say, if you like the page, don't have to be a league racer. Like the page, send us a little message saying you want to be involved next week. Next week's race will be brilliant.
Yeah, and if you are good, you can get into the league. Exactly.
There's spaces still available. You can message page for a test. You'll get tested by a couple of admins, which will just assess your driving technique. You don't have to be fast, you just have to race cleanly, have a bit of track etiquette about you, and it should be good.
Yeah, so for me, Chopper is a bit of a disappointment as well, because he is only 12th, and we are not used to see him that down on the grid.
Yeah, it's quite an upside down grid. It looks like maybe a couple of the faster guys maybe caught maybe got caught up in a bit of traffic, or maybe just couldn't get that lap together because they're in a position they didn't want to be, especially on a track like the Hungary ring where you cannot usually overtake. It is a very tricky track. You are usually following around this track.
Yeah. I mean, if you can just check Humbug's POV, because he's sitting in the garage, and I'm looking at a pit worker, a guy who works in the pit. So it's a weird.
Humbug is on the grid. It's a weird one. We're going to do this week, since it's your home race, you can lead us away. We will be on board with Fletcher Boy, but you will commentate for the first couple of corners just to see if we have a great, exciting start. Is that okay?
Yeah, sure. So just waiting for everyone to get onto the grid, and it's 2, 3, 4, 5 lights, and away we go for the Hungarian Grand Prix, round 11. Seems like Fletcher gets a very good job. Oh, and it's Humbug into the lead on my screen, and he spun around. No, that's gotta be some bug.
Yeah, we've got Techno Thriller in first place at the moment. So Techno Thriller has made a move on the Williams of Fletcher Boy. So Techno Thriller is trying to protect his championship lead. And we've got quite a lot of cars trying to make ground. As you've got Coming to Get You still in fourth place at the moment. Chopper and Humbug are having a battle for 9th and 10th.
Decadent has spun around.
We're on board with Decadent. Yeah, he's a long way behind the rest of the field.
And there's also Humbug, but I don't trust this POV. So I see Humbug driving in 15th place very slowly. Is that true?
He's currently in 9th position.
Okay. So I will leave.
If you want to leave the session and rejoin, it might sort it out for you.
Maybe.
Right, so we'll go for a rundown. We're coming to the end of lap 1. Techno Thriller is 5/10 of a second in front of Fletcher Boy.
Hello, JB has lost a bit of his front wing and he's going into the pits. Oh, and he misses the pit entry. That was weird. Okay, I will rejoin.
Okay, so Techno Thriller being chased down by the Williams of Fletcher Boy. Fletcher Boy started on pole position, but a nice bit of driving, a great start from Techno Thriller. Managed to swap positions there, racing Podge, and the Renault is in 3rd. We've got Coming to Get You, reserve driver for the Force India team today, is currently 4th position. We've got the Williams of Lee Nell in 5th. Uzi is in 6th. Gamey Things is 7th. Humbug is 8th. Chopper is in 9th. Did SX is 10th. Blood and Sand 11th. 12th. Snipe's Sake. Aspheric is 13th. S Graham is 14th. Lord JB is 15th. And Decadent, after an early spin, is in 16th. We will race on board with Techno Thriller at the moment. He's getting chased down by the Williams of Fletcher Boy. Fletcher Boy going a little bit wide there over the curbs, but he's only a 10th or 2 behind the Haas of Techno Thriller. Now Techno Thriller is the championship leader, and Fletcher Boy Josh, he needs to get decent points this race. He needs to finish the race. That would be great. Last two races DNFs, and he looks like he's lining up and going into turn 14, going side by side with a Haas. A Haas just having edge in his nose in front.
Very good racing between the two of them.
So you've got the Williams lining up the Haas. The Haas taking a defensive line there, trying to get the inside of turn 1, which he does successfully.
And I think, yeah, Racing Coach has made a...
He's looks like he's made a mistake or something, because he is down into 14th position now. Loads of cars have overtook him. Oh, and he's spun again.
Oh, that's a horrible day for the Renault drivers so far.
So Fletcher Boy is 3/10 second behind Techno Thriller. Techno Thriller are doing a great job trying to keep the Williams behind him, but got Coming to Get You. He's in 3rd position at the moment, and he's got the Williams of Lee now about 5/6 a second behind him as we go past the chicane with both cars eager to try and get further up the field, because Coming to Get You is a very fast driver, and I'm sure he will be attacking Fletcher Boy before they know it.
Oh, Fletcher Boy is run wide. I think he'll line up Technotrilla into the main straight.
Yeah, he will get DRS activation coming off this corner, and the DRS activation will activate halfway down the pit straight, leading into turn 1, and then leading out of turn 1 you get a little mini DRS straight as well.
Looking at Technotrilla, he is just concentrated on the exit. But Fletcher is very quick in the straights. I was not expecting that quickness, and oh, that was a beautiful picture perfect undercut.
And look at that, Fletcher Boy is in front of Techno, but Techno is not giving any ground to Fletcher Boy. It's going to be close.
That was a beautiful move by Fletcher Boy. Now he's got to keep things cool. Unless Techno makes a dive, but no. He couldn't do anything about it.
So I can see this battle is going to last quite a long way through the race. Oh, there's an Techno going a little bit wide there. Still managed to keep it on track. Do you think he's pushing a bit too hard there, Peter?
Yeah, he's pushing a lot harder than he should. He's leading a championship, and he is leading a championship ahead of...
Oh, he's got coming to get you, he's trying to make a move on Techno Thriller. That mistake has allowed coming to get you to jump from a 1.9 second deficit up to just 0.5 of a second now. So he will get DRS on the Haas of Techno Thriller, who is now 2.5 seconds away from Fletcher Boy in first place in the Williams.
This is turning out to be a very good battle between these four guys, and maybe Uzi can join them. And right behind them there is another big train between Hamburg, Gamey Things, and Chopper. They are battling for P6 at the moment. Hamburg needs to be further up in the order, and that's a very late launch by Hamburg, but that's an important one as well, because he needs to get up in this order to get at least P3. Techno is second.
So we got coming to get you. He's in third position, Peter, but he's also on the soft tyres, a slower compound. You're losing out roughly maybe 5-6 tenths a second per lap with the different compounds. Do you see this as a positive step for coming to get you, that he's got the pace in the locker?
Sure, definitely. If you have the pace over a driver who is on a faster tire, it's always a good sign.
And then we've got Lee Nell in the Williams creeping up behind the Force India coming to get you. Lee Nell in the Williams, he's on the super soft tyres at the moment, 0.6 of a second behind, coming to get you in the Force India. As Techno Thriller is dropping further back behind the leader Fletcher Boy. 3.2 seconds now separates Techno Thriller and Fletcher Boy.
And looking at Lee Nell, he's right about 7 tenths behind coming to get you. As far as Fletcher Boy says the fastest lap is the 122.0, and Lee Nell sets a 122.8. So basically, that's a good second between the two of them per lap. But he's in traffic, and it seems like that Lee Nell is losing a bit of time now to the two drivers in front of him. As coming to get you is really trying to overtake Techno Thriller at the moment.
Do you factor in with your tyre strategy? Do you factor in that you're going to have battles which are going to cause your tyre performance to drop, or do you don't factor that in at all?
Yeah, it depends on your strategy, but if you're in a battle, you are in a battle. so yeah, I expect.
What lap do you expect the super soft runners to come in?
Around lap 8, between 8 and 10, I guess. But that's just a very, very, very bold guess from me.
And the soft tyres, do you reckon they'll last a few laps longer than the super softs, or maybe a bit longer in the race?
I think if coming to get you wants to do the one stop, he can do it, but you have to overtake Techno, or either you have to stay out to like lap 15 and run 20 laps.
So Hamburg is making progress up the field. He's 5th place at the moment.
Coming to get you. He's trying to overtake Techno Thriller with a very good move, but he was not close enough to do it. and Lino is losing touch of the podium.
Yeah, that is. He's
And
7/10 of a second now
and
behind,
Lino
coming
is
to get you.
in the walls. Lino is in the walls. He's lost his front wing partly, so that will be an extra pit stop for him. And someone is in the wall as well.
Uzi's had a spin at the chicane. He's lost a lot of positions there.
Yeah, these two corners, like the chicane and the corner before, are very hard to master. You can very easily lose the back end and just go into the wall.
On board with the Force India coming to get you. He's in third position. He must be getting frustrated now coming out the exit of turn 14 on the start finish straight. He will have DRS and he will have that wide open. As he does, he's lining up. Techno Thriller and Has heading there now. Techno Thriller is very hard to pass. He takes a great defensive line. As coming to get you, tries to look on the inside. A little lock up there from the Force India. But Techno Thriller's lost out. He's gone too wide into turn 2, and he's lost second position, and he's a second behind coming to get you.
And now coming to get you is the favorite to win this Grand Prix if he can do the one stop, because even though Fletcher will be faster at the end of the Grand Prix now, he has to do two stops.
And DidSX has had a spin in sector 1. He is 7th position. He's lost 6th position. Blood and Sand getting past him after the incident, and S. Graham in the Mercedes also getting past DidSX.
The track is very is not forgiving at the moment, so a lot of drivers losing their backends and spinning out.
We've got the McLaren Honda for Snipe's sake. He's trying to have a go at DidSX trying to recover from that spin. Your tyres will have little bits on them, bit of dirt on them as well for going offline. So this could be the problem for the Red Bull driver, as the McLaren Honda driver is all over him. But then also Lord JB and the Force India is all over the back of for Snipe's sake. So we've got 3 cars within a second of each other.
Lord JB has made a big improvement so far in this Grand Prix, because remember, he's had an incident, lost part of his front wing, and now he missed the pit entry. Then later on, and he's coming into the pits again. That will be his second pit stop already on lap 9. So
it's going to be a long race for Lord JB.
Yeah, and Decadent is up into which will be P8 as he can make it. There was a bit of a touch from Snipe's sake, but he knew it was done. So he's up into P8. Do you see Decadent climb back up to the pole? Sorry.
It's okay. Yeah, I can see Decadent maybe climbing. It's going to be a hard one for him. If he's going to go one stop is probably the slowest strategy you can choose around this track. But with a driver with Decadent's speed, he may challenge him maybe for top 5. Podium is a big ask for him.
And looking at coming to get you, right now it's lap 9, and the super soft tires of Fletcher Boy are starting to drop off a bit. So that's what I'm talking about. Coming to get you with the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, and he's closing to Fletcher Boy. So right now he's the favorite to win this Grand Prix if he doesn't make any mistakes.
So do you think tyre performance for Fletcher Boy is starting to let him down now? Do you think the time is now for him to pit? If he goes a little bit too longer, it could cost him later in the race.
Sure, that's a big problem around this track, the tyre wear, which is very harsh around Hungary. So even though he's in the lead and then nobody is interrupting him at the moment, he's losing time now, because we are on lap 10 and his tires are well over their best.
So we'll go for a quick rundown. We're on lap 10. Fletcher Boy is currently in the lead in the Williams, 2.8 seconds ahead of coming to get you the reserve for Force India tonight. So Techno Thriller's in third after an interesting start, which has seen him drop from leading the race at the early stages into third position. Humbug, great start from his grid position. He's in fourth, Chopper fifth. Blood and Sand is sixth, S. Graham seventh, eighth Decadent, ninth Gamey Things, and 10th Aspheric. That is the top 10 for now.
Good
So
drive
we've
from us,
got
very
Fletcher
good
Boy
drive.
is in the pits. This is he's decided to pit now. I think he realised performance was not his best friend at the moment with the tyre wear. So he will go on to presumably a set of the soft tyres, which he does.
Tires, yeah. Yes, soft tires. He won't go to the end, so he will need to stop again. Which means coming to get you is in the lead, and he'll do only one stop. So that's it. probably not that, but that's it. I think
With the
for the
medium
lead.
tyres, it can get you to the end of the race, but the last part of that race will be a very hard struggle.
It will be a very hard struggle, and remember, oh, was coming to get you loses the back end like crazy. So his tires, I believe, are starting to get over the best point as well. But if he wants to do the one stop, he needs to go at least until lap 15. I guess.
What about if he was to do two stop, go soft tyres next stop, and then super softs last stint? Do you reckon that would work for him?
In my opinion, that wouldn't make a lot of sense because you can do the two stop quicker with two supers and one soft.
Okay, I've got you, yeah. That does make sense, as we'll go on board with Chopper and the Mercedes chasing down the Toro Rosso of Humbug. He will have DRS going down the pit straight. His DRS is wide open as he tries to line Humbug up. And he's just not got enough in him. He may have a second bite, as he will get a little bit more of DRS as Humbug goes a little wide. That is compromised Humbug as the Mercedes of Chopper is trying to make a line. Oh, a little bit of a contact there. Looked like a little bit of damage coming off one of the wings there as Lee now sets a 1-2-1.
That was beautiful.
There we go, and approval from Peter, as we know, is one of the best to ever raced in our league, is good going for Chopper in the Mercedes. Humbug looks like he's having a few problems tonight with a few mistakes already.
He's having a few problems, as it seems, here in Hungary. First the qualifying and then a few mistakes. And of course the tire wear, because Chopper has the soft tires, which is better now in lap 12. And Techno is still going on the super soft, so he might be doing the one stop.
We're going through the chicane, currently on board with Lee now. He is chasing down gamey things in the Ferrari. There's 0.2 of a second in it as Lee now looks to have made a lot of ground up on them last two corners as Techno Thriller pits now from second position. And Humbug
So
also
Techno is-
pitting.
Do you see them put on the medium tires or just the softs like Fletcher did?
We've got
Medium.
mediums for Techno. That is an interesting call for a one-stop strategy, obviously. And Humbug follows
Just
suit.
like Humbug. Yeah, so they can get in front of Fletcher, but I think Fletcher
Got Lee now
will get them.
in the Williams. We've got the Toro Rosso coming out of the pit exit. Lee now trying to make a move on the Ferrari going into turn one. A nasty lock-up. The Ferrari maintains his position of 7th position, but Lee now is not giving up in the Williams. He's trying to get that
He'll go
7th
up the
place.
inside. He tried to go up the inside, yeah, and he has the better line, so he can line him up. But around the outside of this corner, no. And Humbug as well was in a tendency.
That
After
was an interesting manoeuvre. We'll go on board with Techno Thriller. He's 3/4 of a second behind S. Graham in the Mercedes. So Techno Thriller in the Haas making a pit stop, putting on the medium tyres. Looks like a one-stop strategy, which will be a tough strategy, as coming to get you is currently in first position, a massive 11.5 seconds ahead of Chopper.
Is overtaking S. Graham. S. Graham didn't put up a fight. That was a clever move from him. And
oh, look at that lap time by Fletcher Boy.
yeah, he's very quick. Oh, and Lena makes a mistake, but closes in on Humbug. And remember, there are only 3 points between the two of them, so Lena won't let Humbug go through at any cost.
So you've got the Williams with Lee now and Humbug and the Toro Rosso there behind the train of the Ferrari. That is Gaming Things. Lee now having a little look, going to turn one, a little bit of a lock up as well. Puff of smoke from these soft tyres. And he's got a great run on with DRS wide open onto the Ferrari. He's going to have a look on the inside. Gaming Things goes to the outside. There's a bit of a lock up, a little bit maybe of wheel bang in there. There's the Ferrari trying to give a little bit more room as they go side by side, nearly going up to the short run up to the uphill turns, and the Ferrari still in the lead.
Oh, Gaming Things made a mistake, and that almost cost Lee's front wing.
We go through the chicane with the Ferrari still ahead of the Williams. The Williams still ahead of the Toro Rosso. This battle is allowing Humbug to get closer and closer to Lee now, as Lee now is 3 points behind Humbug in the tables. Pete stated a lap ago. So this is very important for Lee now to get past Gamey Things and move on into the race. We'll go on board with Fletcher Boy. He's in third position. He's lining up the Mercedes of Chopper Boy. He's 3/10 of a second behind him. He's got DRS wide open. I don't think he's going to make a move.
Couldn't make the move, stick still. That's a big issue here for him, because he's losing a lot of time. Now they are out of contention of the podium probably. And remember, Humbug has pitted along with Techno.
Oh, there's a bit of contact. It looks like maybe a bit of contact between the Williams and the Mercedes. There's a bit of front wing goes tumbling off to the side of the track. It is getting very feisty between the Williams and the Mercedes. Chopper trying to withstand the Williams of Fletcher Boy's advances here.
That's very unlucky for Fletcher Boy.
Oh, he's gone a little bit wide there. Do you reckon the wing damage is affecting him at the moment?
Definitely, that's a very big loss of the front wing, so he'll pit, I believe.
So Lee now has got past the Ferrari of Gaming Things. We'll go on board with Humbug and Toro Rosso trying to make the same manoeuvre that got Lee now past Gaming Things, and Gaming Things is turned out to be someone who can be quite tough to pass, especially on a track that's hard to pass anyway.
Yeah, coming to get you. He's in the pits, so Fletcher Boy gets back the lead, but Fletcher Boy, remember, has a front wing damage, so coming to get you is around 5-6 seconds behind Fletcher, and I think they will have the same pace due to that front wing loss.
Okay, on board with the Toro Rosso Humbug. He's got DRS wide open as we go into the turn one. He has a little look on the Ferrari of Gaming Things. He's going on the inside, Gaming Things on the outside. We're going to look at board on Gaming Things. He's gone very wide there. Maybe a bit too much of a defensive drive in there. He maybe made a mistake. So he has now lost a position to both the Williams and the Toro Rosso. So it's getting interesting now as coming to get you. He's 5.2 seconds behind Fletcher Boy. Fletcher Boy will be pitting again. We're assuming that coming to get you will not be pitting. So this looks like coming to get you's race to lose.
Yes, definitely. Coming to get you is clearly in the driver's seat of this victory on his debut, remember. So it looks like that there will be 2 new drivers. Fletcher
Boy pits. We'll stay on board with Fletcher Boy as he pits to see if he will be getting a change of nose. He knows the danger from coming to get you is very, very real. He's not experienced this before. He's going to see what he can do. He pits and he will be getting a new nose change as well. So he goes on to the medium tyres. So that has thrown a spanner in the works for Fletcher Boy.
Yeah, basically he lost the advantage. What he could have gained with staying out on the softs and then go on to the super softs, but that's racing.
We're coming to up to 50% of the race gone, so we'll go with first place maybe on his only stop, has done that, and it's coming to get you on the medium tyres. Techno Thriller also on the mediums is second. Third is Chopper in the Mercedes. Fourth, Williams of Linnell. Fifth, Humbug in the Toro Rosso. Gaming Things in the Ferrari is sixth. Blood and Sand also in the Ferrari is in seventh. Williams eighth, with Fletcher Boy Racing Podge in the Renault is ninth, and his teammate Decadent is in 10th. S. Graham in the Mercedes is 11th. Uzi is in 12th. Lord JB 13th. Didesx 14th. For Snipe's sake is 15th. 16th. Aspheric. We've had no DNFs, no retirements. This is a first to get through 50% of a race for Speed Force Racing and not have someone come out. Do you think that is credit to the drivers' levels if they're competing at a higher level now?
Yeah, I believe they are all competitors as well, and now they're getting into a groove of, I don't want to be in any sort of trouble. I think at least I'm racing like this because I'm trying to avoid any sort of trouble, but along with it I will go into...
Oh, the Ferrari of Blood and Sand trying to get past Gaming Things. The Ferraris didn't play team rules there. It cost Blood and Sand as Fletcher Boy managed to get a pass back because Blood and Sand had to hit the brakes very hard to stop himself running into his teammate. So teammates not getting along there, maybe not working together, has allowed the Williams to become in between them and split them up.
Do you see Fletcher mount a challenge to the podium?
I think he's got a very good chance of doing that. We're on board with Linnell in his the teammate of Fletcher Boy in the Williams. He is chasing down the Mercedes of Chopper very hard, making a few little mistakes there as Lord JB gets a 3-second time penalty, multiple warnings. That will be for corner cutting or exceeding the track limits. Very tough stewards around here again, but that's what we like to see. We want to see cars sticking in between the white lines of the track. As we go round turn 13, leading up to turn 14, we've got Lee now. He will get DRS on Chopper. He'll have his first bite of the cherry going down the start-finish straight. And leading into turn 1, coming out of turn 1, he will get the second bite with a very short DRS straight. So do you see him getting this move done?
I don't see I don't think he's close enough. As I think Lino has a bad a too hard brake. How should I say, braking? Okay, I got it. So his brake ballast is too much in front, I believe. So he's locking up quite a lot on my screen, at least. Yeah,
we're getting that. We're getting the same images of tons of tyre smoke coming off Lee now when he's locking up. Fletcher Boy getting past the Ferrari of Gaming Things. So Fletcher Boy is 5.2 seconds behind Humbug, who's going to have to chase down for position, as that will be Humbug's last pit stop completed. Lee now fourth in the Williams. He's on the soft tyres at the moment. He will have to make another stop, go on board Chopper. He is in the Mercedes on the medium tyres, so we're assuming that he's done all his stops for the race. And Techno Thriller 6.7 seconds behind, coming to get you. We'll go on board with coming to get you in the Force India, as Peter will go through a few corners with coming to get you.
Coming to get you. So he's leading the Grand Prix right now with a 6.6 second gap over Techno Thriller, who has a 3-second time penalty. Us coming to get you runs a bit wide, but that's okay, because he is clearly in the lead. If you're in the lead of a Grand Prix, you have to stay focused, because if you have quite a big lead, you can sometimes get a little bit out of sync with yourself.
Like complacent?
Yes.
And that,
so,
do you see that as a leading driver, being complacent, that can be your downfall from winning a race to losing it?
It can be a factor of losing the Grand Prix. But if you're leading, I think you just have to concentrate even more than you are in a fight, because Because to lead a Grand Prix and to put in consistent laps, is coming to get your runs right. I think he's out of sync with himself right now a bit, so he needs to get the things right again for himself.
Going on board with Blooded Sandy's behind his teammate Gamey Things in the Ferrari. He's going to have DRS now. Will his teammate allow him past? He's obviously the faster car of the team, and they're on different race strategies as well. But I don't think Gamey Things is playing ball there. We'll go on board with Williams of Lee now as he's chasing down still the Mercedes of Chopper, who's 9.6 seconds away from coming to get you.
And I believe Lena has to make another stop.
Yeah, that is correct. So that will put him further down the grid.
That will put Fletcher Boy up on place. And
Lee Neal gets a 3-second time penalty. That's not going to help his cause at all. Pushing maybe a little bit too much there, and he's extended the track limits once too many for the stewards to be happy with. Oh, there goes. Lee Neal makes Chopper makes a mistake, allowing Lee Neal through.
I didn't see what happened, but and I think he might have gone onto the grass, and that's very weird, because that's weird. What is happening to Chopper?
Maybe a moment of complacency, like we were talking about. It doesn't have to always be with the leader being complacent. Some drivers can get that when they're under pressure with another car trying to chase them down. You can make mistakes because the pressure does get to you.
Yeah, I felt the same in Bahrain last week. I was very nervous to get P3.
See, even it doesn't matter how good you are. You're a very good driver, like one of the fastest. If you check through our early result standings, Peter, aka Ramavad, was doing brilliantly, winning poles, everything. So, do you see yourself? You were winning races. Did you put extra pressure on yourself to try and keep that lead from P2?
I had a, and I don't know. I had a feeling to always be faster than P2, or the driver behind me, because I saw, okay, he's faster than me in this sector, so next sector I'll put in a better performance. I will try to put in a better performance, and I think that's something that got me through hard times. Like when I thought I'm not quick. Not as quick as others. I try to just keep it simple and just check the sector times, and I saw, okay, he's quicker here, so what should I do differently? And all of that during the race I'm talking about. So I did a few things differently when I was in the lead to when I wasn't in the lead, because if you're not in the lead, you want to go for the lead, or to as high as you can.
Yeah.
But in your lead, if you're in the lead, I think you just gotta maintain the pace, the patience. So that's how I approach a race.
Do you see at the start of each race you get the option to add more fuel into your car or take away? Is it wise for a driver who's maybe a midfield runner to maybe put a few more litres of petrol in to maybe push that little bit harder in the race, try and get further up the field, or do you think the extra weight of that fuel is just not worth the risk?
I get the point of putting extra fuel into the car, because you can run in rich mix a lot more. But I think that if you put less fuel at the start of the Grand Prix, like if you're in minus, you will get a better start than the others around you. You will be quicker at the start of the Grand Prix, so because you will have a lighter car on the same tires, and then when you get into a specific position like P5 and nothing is happening around you, you can start lifting off at the at the break before the braking points, shift up earlier at the exit of the corners, and put the car into lean mix in slower part of the tracks, the slower parts of the track. That's how I use fuel usually, to put a little bit less at the beginning and then save it during the race.
Yeah, you hear a lot in modern Formula 1 about lift and coast. Now, in this game, does that actually save fuel for people that will be running a lighter car, or does it not make much difference?
It makes a lot of difference, because I did the same thing in Bahrain. I was running behind another car, and thanks to the DRS, I got pretty close to him. So I put the car into lean mix, and I was just coasting behind him. Probably, I should say, yeah, coasting behind him, and I just didn't have to brake, so I had to brake, but it helped a lot.
We're on board with Fletcher Boys, 5/10 of a second behind Toro Rosso of Humbug, and Humbug is 4/10 of a second behind Chopper. So both the Toro Rosso of Humbug and the Williams of Fletcher Boy are on the hunt of the Mercedes of Chopper. As Lee Nell is in third place, he's on the soft tyres. He will have to make another pit. Coming to get you is first with a lead of 5.8 seconds against Techno Thriller, which is a really great sign. It's Did SX, what a lap, a 120.6, still with quite a bit of fuel left on the car, so that is a very impressive lap there.
I think he did a better lap than in qualifying.
I'm not too sure on that, but if you've spotted that, I will go with you. As Lee now makes his last pit stop for the race, I'm assuming he will go on the super soft tyres, and
yeah, that would make sense. So this battle between Fletcher, Humbug and Chopper is for the podium, and Chopper can get a very good podium for himself after starting from P12. Humbug has started from P6, I believe, and Fletcher is the biggest loser out of everyone tonight again in the third in 3 races in a row now, because in Austria he had a bug with the game where he crashed into Techno Thriller's car, but that was just a bug. So he was furious, but I get the point. Why? After he started from P1 last week in Britain and lost the car into Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel, so he scored 0 points again, and this time he started from P1 again and had an accident with, I believe, Chopper.
That was the incident with Chopper. It's quite interesting. So we got both Humbug and Fletcher Boy on the medium tyres, as the top 5 are all on the medium tyres. Lee Nell on the super soft, just pitted at the last lap. Do you see Lee Nell maybe getting in the podium picture?
If Fletcher Boy stays behind Humbug and Chopper, then Lee can get back to them, even though he's like 8 seconds behind them. But if there is a battle, they will lose like 2 seconds at least to fresh tired Lee, who is very quick on the super soft tires at the moment.
Oh, Fletcher Boy getting a 3-second time penalty. That is going to cost him massively. He needs to keep it together now because he does not want to have another bad race. He is getting left behind in the points table for the drivers.
Yeah, I think that was the point where if you don't win the title, I think these 3 races would tell you why.
Yeah, I fully agree with that. These 3 races he will look back, no matter if he wins or he doesn't win the title, he will look back and be quite disappointed, maybe with his own display, maybe with a bit of bad luck in general, but he's right on the back of the Toro Rosso.
Basically, he has lost like 75 points.
Yeah, That's exactly right. He's lost good points there. As he tries to line up Humbug and the Toro Rosso, but Humbug also had DRS, as they will both have DRS now. Great exit from the corner from Fletcher Boy, and Lee now sets a 120.2 on the fresh super softs.
Deep into this corner, keep it on, and you will have the inside line. Yes, beautiful move, just like Daniel Ricciardo did it on Lewis Hamilton back in 2004. That was a beautiful move by Fletcher. So he has to overtake Chopper and needs to get a 3-second advantage on him in order to get the podium.
Yeah, well that's it. And I think Fletcher Boy, if he can shake Humbug, he's only got 7 laps to do it, but he can make that 3 seconds up. Fletcher Boy obviously coming from a great pedigree of online racers, his dad also being a very competitive online racer, and taught Fletcher Boy quite a lot of his skills, and it's coming to fruition for Fletcher Boy as he's chasing down the Mercedes now of Chopper, who's only 5 tenths a second between them. There's 3 tenths of a second between them now as we go into turn 13, coming out of turn 13. Now who's going to have better traction coming out the long winding right hander of turn 14 as we go on to the start finish straight? The Williams will have DRS.
That's his focus, because he's doing a fabulous job. Because even if Fletcher overtakes him, he still needs to put a 3-second gap between the two of them. And look at Lee now, he can see Humbug at the end of the straight when he was around the start-finish line. So now it's only like a 10-second gap. So it was, maybe it was 12 before.
What is interesting is the fact that Fletcher Boy, Chopper and Humbug will be fighting. It will cost them time, and Lee Nell will sneak in, and by lap 33 I'm expecting Lee Nell to be within a couple of seconds of this battle, if the battle continues like this way. As the clouds look a little bit darker, we were meant to have a dry race, but you never know with the Hungarian weather, as the Williams of Fletcher Boy is still on the chase of Chopper Boy. He's pulling away from Humbug, only a few tenths gained though in the last couple of sectors. He needs to do more if he's going to keep this position, because he has that 3-second time penalty coming at the end of the race.
Remember, Humbug has the same penalty.
There you go, that is very interesting, Peter. See, there you go, Peter on the ball again, pointing out super facts that will eventually settle the provisional result.
He will dive up inside, yeah.
Oh, lovely move. If he can keep it together, he's going to have great traction coming out of the corner. The Mercedes of Chopper is still trying to get that position back, but Fletcher, I think he's done enough.
Yeah, he's got it.
There you go, great bit of driving there as Humbug goes a little bit wide. That will put him further back behind Chopper as Lord JB again pits from the from 7th position. He's on the medium tyres at the moment. I'm sure he'll be pitting for the super soft tyres.
Oh, and Aspheric, what is he doing? I mean, come on. That was unsportsmanlike.
Aspheric, we will go and have a look at Aspheric. What happened there, Peter?
Basically, he's a lap down, and Leon is coming around, trying to lap him, and Leon has just broken his front wing in the back of Asperic's car.
I'm sure that will be passed on to the race stewards for our league. Their identities unknown, to make it a little bit fairer for each racer. So I'm sure the steward will be busy over the next couple of days. We're on board. We're coming to get you. He's in the Force India. Is this reserve race today? Doing a great job on his debut.
He's doing a very good job. Yes.
We will go and have a look at this stop. So everyone has done either 2 stops, and 4 drivers have done 1 stop. So quite going to plan for everyone, especially Lord JB. I thought he was actually pitting for his 3rd stop, so he's on 2 stops as well, which is quite interesting. Position change, we've got coming to get you, making 3 positions from his grid start. Fletcher Boy going down twice. Chopper 8 positions he gained from his start position, which is a good result for him at the moment. Let's just see if he can continue it.
And there is a good battle between the two fire drivers of Blood and Sand and Gamey Things.
So we've got 3 drivers that have been lapped so far in the race. That is Dead SX for Snipes.
And another good battle between Uzi and Racing Podge starting to develop, along, as I said, with Blood and Sand and Gamey Things and Decadent might them.
So we're on board with Uzi in the McLaren Honda. He's chasing down Racing Podge in the Renault. Racing Podge not having the easiest of races as McLaren Honda, trying to show Racing Podge I'm behind you, and he's trying to get closer and closer as his teammate Snake getting a 3-second time penalty. McLaren Honda trying to line up the Renault. He's going to try and stick behind him now, trying to get that DRS activation for the start finish straight, which also helps and benefits before you get to that second DRS zone, which may just give you the edge as the Renault runs a little bit wide, a bit too deep there into the corner. Outside, going on to the inside of the McLaren Honda, a decent move, a great pass there from Uzi to go into 11th position.
That was a beautiful move by Uzi. A very good driver.
Exactly that, yes, I agree with that. Humbug has got past the Mercedes of Chopper, and he will be chasing down Fletcher Boy for the 3rd position.
Yeah, Gamey Things ran wide, and this is a 3-way battle between Decadent, Blood and Sand, and Gamey Things. Now, which is starting to develop for 7th place.
So the 2 Ferraris and the Renault going through the chicane there, all closely together. This is going to be quite an interesting, as the Ferrari teammates are not actually doing team rules at the moment.
And I'm looking at Chopper at the moment, who's lost a bit of his front wing, a big chunk of his front wing I should say, and Humbug is up into P4, and Fletcher's in P3, so their gap is basically neutralized between Fletcher and Humbug, because they have the same penalty, that 3-second penalty. But Chopper, what happened to Chopper?
Decadent is trying to get past the Ferrari of Blood and Sand, and he does it as Blood and Sand gets less traction coming out of the final corner. But Blood and Sand is not giving up yet. He's trying to race the Renault down to the line.
No, he can. Oh, a good move. A very good move by Decadent. And now he'll go and challenge Gamey Things, I think. Ooh, Blood and Sand almost ran into the back of Decadent, but he was just right on the brakes.
So we're on lap 34 of the race, coming to get you a superb drive. He's currently 1st position. Techno is in 2nd. Fletcher Boy, after a front wing change, he's on 3rd position, currently on the last step of the podium, and he's 5 seconds ahead of Humbug. I don't think there's any trouble there, even with each getting a 3-second time penalty.
So you see what I was talking about earlier on the Grand Prix. So look at Fletcher's gap to coming to get you. It's like 25 seconds. If you count out the front wing change, which is like 5 seconds, and you add the additional time of the super soft tires, which could have given him like 1.2 seconds, a 1.2 seconds advantage, he would be battling, coming to get you for the win.
Yeah, I agree with that. As the Renault has a look at the Ferrari going into turn 1. Decadent, as Chopper gets a 3-second time penalty. Decadent in 8th position, trying to get that 7th position off Gamey Things.
Decadent, a very impressive drive from him last time out, as he won the British Grand Prix, which was a bit unexpected. We know he is quick, and we knew he is quick, but that was still a bit unexpected for me.
I'm going to go on board with coming to get you. He started this final lap, Peter. I will hand this over to you to do the last lap of our potential race winner.
Yeah, coming to get you. He has done a fantastic job as a reserve driver and as a new driver in this league, of course. But yeah, the one stop really paid out for him. Because he got a very good start. Wasn't in any source of accident. He just raced the fastest race he could, and this will probably or 99% result in a race win for him.
Yeah, of course, provisional results before the stewards are looking into decisions, so we won't get the full results until the weekend as we go through turn 13 with the Force India. A nice exit there as we approach turn 14, the last corner of the last lap of this race, as we've got the Force India coming to get you, getting his first race win in Speed Force Racing on his debut. What a drive!
Beautiful. And it's starting to be a trend.
Techno Thriller goes through in second.
Chopper got hit by a lap car of, I think it must be Uzi or Forsyth's sake.
And we got Fletcher Boy crossing the line in third position. He's happy with that. What a great drive by him. As the Toro Rosso now, he is crossing the line. It is fourth place for Humbug. Go on board with the Mercedes of Chopper as he comes around his last corner of his race. He is fifth position. Great result for him. Go on board with Lionel Williams getting the sixth position, so sixth and third for Williams in this race. The Ferrari of Gaming Things getting chased down by Deccan and the Renault. This could be a very close last corner of the race. Can the Renault do anything? I think it's a bit too late for him as the Ferrari takes a very tight line going into the last corner. Oh, Gaming Things just manages to pip Decadent. Decadent finishing 8th position. 9th is Uzi for McLaren Honda. Lord JB coming in the Force India. 10th position.
1 point. After like 4 stops, that's a good result.
What a good drive for him. But got Racing Podge in the Renault 11th. S. Graham's 12th. Blood and Sand 13th. The screen goes off. So there you go, top 3. It is first place coming to get you. What a great drive. Second place, Techno Thriller. Third place, Fletcher Boy in the Williams. Great recovery drive considering he had to have a front wing change and going on to the mediums to do a one-stop race. And we see the race winners. I agree, Peter. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant race.
And I think this will be a very good race round off this year, 2017.
I agree. I don't think we could have asked for anything better. There was no major incidents, no damage, no car failing to finish. Actually, I think Blood and Sand didn't finish. Yeah, it's a brilliant result for Speedful Racing and a brilliant result for the drivers individually. And like I say, this is the last race before our 4-week break. As we go into the Christmas holidays, it's a time for people to spend with their families, not to be on computers. So 4 weeks time, on the 10th of January 2018. Our season will continue from Spa. But like I say, next week we've got a 100% race round Spa with full simulation damage, full qualifying, dynamic weather. You just have to like the page and put your name down. There is 5 spots remaining for that race. 20 cars all going for that glory of getting the first ever 100% race win for Speed Force Racing.
Yeah, that was beautiful, buddy.
Do you have a driver of the day, Peter?
Yeah, for me it was coming to get you, because the strategy was on point, the driving was on point, and the driver was on point. So all 3 at once, 3 in 1. I think, at least for me, he was the driver of the day.
I kind of agree. What a drive! What a way! If he does join the league, if he likes what he sees after today, and he joins the league, it will add a spice going into the second half of the season for Speed Force Racing. Please, please, please go to Facebook. So www.facebook.com/Speed Force Racing PS4. Give the page a like I say, 5 spots remaining for the 100% race. It's your time to join in. There is going to be a classic series starting on the 11th of January, a 5-race mini-series in the C2 cars. We'll be going around Monaco, Silverstone, Spa, Monza and Japan as well. So a brilliant race there. I will go to Peter for his final thoughts of the race and also his thoughts on the first half of our season.
Yeah, let me start with the first half of the season. Uh, I started the season in the league as a racer, and as a racer, it was amazing. Uh, and as a commentator, it was still amazing. It's two very different things to do, but I do racing and I do commentate here, and I think this is a very good place with very good people, very good community. So really, join us. This is this is a very good league, and this is only getting better with two divisions from January for 5 weeks. And if that goes well, I think we'll have a two-division season too. Uh, but to be honest, the first half of the season was very good for Techno in particular, and of course Lee, Humbug, and Fletcher did very well. Um, and to get back to the race, um, it was it was really a simple race for me, but with a lot of entertainment. Because until Fletcher Boy's accident with the Mercedes, it was a very open race between Coming to Get You and Fletcher Boy for the win. But after that, it was probably decided by this incident. So congratulations to everyone, and I think the second half of the season will be even better.
I agree, yeah, a lot to look forward to. Like Peter's saying, come join us, there is going to be spots open for our second half of the season. Just as a reserve, get a test, become a reserve. If you like what you see and there's a seat available, it will be offered to you. Also, the Classic Series, there is a few spots remaining for that. Do not have to be a league racer currently in the Modern Series to take part in the Classics. Like I say, next week will be slightly different. I will not be commentating on the 100% race, as I will be driving the 100% race, but I will be streaming on our official channel the race, which will be quite interesting. You can see how appalling my driving has become since I've started to commentate, and that's saying something because it was appalling to start with, but we never know, it could be improved with the cameras on me. So that's a lot to look forward to. So the address again is www.facebook.com/Speed Force Racing PS4. Look us up, give us a like, contact the page. So that's it for the first half of our season for Speed Force Racing. I'm Adam, joined by Peter, and it's a good night from me.
Yeah, have a good night, guys. Cheers and good luck.
Brilliant. Thank you everyone for joining us tonight on the YouTube channel. Have a great night and have a great Christmas as well. All the best to everyone. Good night. Thank you. Bye.